Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I'm hopping into Duel Links and I'm having a look at some of the structure decks that I have in the game. I'm going to be doing breakdowns of these. I'm going to start with the Xyz structure deck, as you can probably tell since I am in the Xyz world. And I've brought it down to two slightly different builds. So one approach I thought was, we've got our Utopias, we've got our Armed Sages. You can just special summon this anytime you have one level 4 on the field. It's pretty easy to achieve. You just summon the Onomatopoeia. You can special summon Unsage. If you summon this, special summon it. If you get a level 4 through our level 2s, you can special summon it. So this ratio you'll see in both of the decks. It's just one Tornado Bringer, one Tornado Bringer and Lightning Blade, because they can search either one that I want off of the Armed Sage. This has a little bit more utility because it's running spells that are searchable. 2 Gagaga Wind and Gagaga Revenge searchable off of the Sister. Both the Sister and the Clerk can get you into that Utopia in the same way that just 2 level 4s can. You summon the Sister, you special the Clerk, and you Sister effect, target the Clerk. They both become 4. You go into Utopia. Doing that line won't be using the Armed Sage in that instance. So you won't get your equip, but it's still just a way to get to 4, and you make the Utopia whilst, you know, maybe finding follow-up in Gagaga Wind to make like a second one, or Gagaga Revenge to just summon back a Sister or a Clerk, depending on what your hand is. What do these do, just in case you're wondering? None of the main deck stuff really matters. It's just get into Utopia, discard, or detach a material, negate an attack. These boost by 1200 and 1300 respectively. While this card is equipped to your monster, your opponent cannot target that monster with card effects. So this stops from targeting, and this stops from effect destruction. Now, if I'm going second, I'll probably want to prioritize the Tornado Bringer, because I'll probably already have back row set up. But if I'm going first, I prioritize the Lightning Blade, because it's less likely that they're going to target. It's quite likely that they'll just have a popping effect. And as for just attacking, it doesn't matter because they'll be equipped with Utopia. Patriarch, I'm sure you're familiar with this. It's if they have multiple monsters on the field with the same name, you can detach, target one, the other gets popped. And this I don't go in too often, but it does have a negate, sort of a conditional negate on it. Let's have a look at the other deck. This is much more just rank 4 turbo, basically. You have the Patriarch still, you have the Utopia still, you have the same lines with the Onomatopoeia and the Armed Sage. It differs a little bit. There's just more monsters. There's just better statted monsters as well. There's the option to go into the level 5 through Dododo Driver. I never really included any of the other ZW cards because the other ones need to be special on the field and then you get to equip them. Whereas these are the only two, so far as I'm aware, that can just equip from the hand. I found that this was more consistent in getting that turn 1 Utopia plus equip, because it is running more 4s, and this specials when you have just that 1 4 on the field. And just sometimes in like lower ladder gameplay, sometimes just having a big beater does make a difference, whereas like having the weenies with the Clerk, for example, doesn't cut it. I don't think this is going to be competitive in like top tier. I think that you could probably get into gold, but I don't think it would go much further than that. I'm leaning towards the second deck being the most optimal, because I think even though you might not make it as consistently, I think it has a better follow-up. And the boost in consistency that the first deck is going to bring is going to be pretty negligible in the long run, over the course of many games. But anyway, I'm going to play 5 duels with each. Maybe 5. I'll see if I want how high I want to go. I want to really flesh out like all the different plays that you can make. So however many duels that takes, that's probably what I'm going to do. So this is a very powerful hand. We actually have turn 1 Utopia with both our equips. So this is a very lucky hand. No target for Dodo Witch. It's totally fine. Let's summon our Witch, well, our Armed Sage. We make the Utopia. Yeah, let's view the animation. Why not? And once it's made, it'll ask you to activate the arm stage. Yes. And we actually, because we opened one, you could say we were lucky in opening one, but we were always going to search the most optimal one for going first, which would be the lightning blade. But thankfully, we can have both. I can't be destroyed by card effects. So that's fine. So I'm kind of protected from the Cyber Slash as well, which I imagine is going to be coming down here pretty quickly. There's the well-known counter to Harpy, and that is Patriarch. So let's go into Patriarch. And swing. Now I know he's got Channeler in hand. Summons Oracle. Oracle effect. If you control, if this card is normal, you can add a graveyard during the end phase. Totally fine. I'm gonna Patriarch. Detach this guy. Oh, I target the channeler, the other one gets popped. Activate Duster. Final card in hand is nothing. So, I obviously beat Harpies. Harpies is a very competent strategy. I think a couple of things that happened that swung the game in my favor. One, they used Lightning Vortex, I think, without reading what my equips did. They didn't know that I was going to be immune to that. We had Patriarch, which is a very hard counter to Harpies. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. That was quite a lucky game on my part. So it is DDD. He has the Swamp King, normal Night Howl, not reviving anything. Okay, that hardly counts. Thank the Lords we're going second. Because this is not a good hand. But it is a hand that gets fixed with any level 4. Any level 4 makes this hand very good. So we have Hammer Shark into Silent Angler. Going into the Hope Woven Spider Shark, 2600. That is very beatable. Not if I'm losing 1,000 though. So I'm just gonna summon Giant and see if they're gonna respond. They do have a Chainable. This is not looking good for us. Econ. You are not Econ-tributing. I don't believe you. He's Econ taking my Giant. Why on earth you would want to do that? I couldn't tell you. Feel like there was a little bit of a misplay. Feel like I have the same play on the follow-up. Wow, okay, so my opponent had that pretty hard. As soon as I activate my effect to equip, is it the Tornado Bringer or the Lightning Blade, the one that stops from targeting? He can just chain to that before it gets equipped, and enemy control of that. And then a Zubababa or Gagaga. Yeah, that's the tricky thing sometimes about Glove. You need to summon a Zubababa or Gagaga. So what if I Glove Armed Sage, summon Utopic, summon another thing? Let's try that. I'm actually gonna need to. Because I always forget that it summons in defense. So I can't, like, bait out an attack with it. Let's go into R5 as well. So he's gonna have to do something. The Cobane he searched boosts its attack. Okay. That's fine. Summon Lilybell. I'm not too familiar with Trickstars, so a lot of the things that they're going to be doing, I'm just going to be like, okay, I'm along for the ride right now. This, I do know that it's like a burn deck. It can do like a bunch of effect damage. So that may have just been a bait, but I'm not going to risk it. It's enemy controller. Okay. They would have preferred to econ my Utopia, but they can't because it cannot be targeted. Swing. More delays. Another Cobane. Ooh, I'm getting dangerously low. Swing with Patriarch. Am I gonna get Drowning Mirror Forced? Woo! Let's go. So I think it's likely that my opponent is on Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes is a somewhat difficult matchup, just because even if you go Utopia equip, if they get off a Spirit Dragon, banish that equip, but then you're at 25, and their 3k is gonna be contesting this. Maiden is annoying, for sure. So the skill I should mention is Onomata Play. Can be used 10-3 and onward. Return a Zubavar, Gagaga, or Gogogo or Dododo monster from your hand to your deck. And then add. I think I may do that here. So this is the one of the lines that can get you into your level 5. You Witch into Driver, and then you Driver effect on itself and the Witch, and it lets you go into your 5. We see that my opponent does have back row. Now, I'm not going to pretend like back row isn't an issue for this deck that doesn't inherently have an answer to remove back row. Okay. Okay. As I was saying, the small hedge you have is to equip your Utopia with your equips, which can sort of protect from destruction or targeting. But if they chain it in time and they sort of a little bit heads up in that way, it can still be problematic, which is a theme in a lot of structure decks. We have the Tornado Ringer. Now we're in business. Shall I summon the Giants? If this card attacks, change defense position. Should I save it? Should I set a card? I'm gonna hope it's not another Whitestone. Because, again, floating into Spirit Dragon is gonna be pretty rough. Okay, he had it. Got out the Blue Eyes now, then. Oh, draws the Reborn. So that's going to bait both of my material off of my Utopia, so it's not very good right now. Oh, it won't. I can freeze it on. That's probably going to seal it up. Yeah, there's not much I can do about that. That's unfortunate. Okay, so here the hands, they're going to look a little bit different. The line maybe not as clear. Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you, chat. Similar to how we lost to Parody Guardians in, like, immediately in the other duel. I think we're gonna have the same issue in this duel. If we had Clerk, what we can actually do is we can summon the number 45, and this can target one other face-up card on the field. That target has its effects negated. And I think that's what I need to play to, so I need to wait for next turn, use my Onomata play skill, swap out one of my cards for the Clerk, and then Sister Clerk summon the 45, negate the Power of the Guardians, so I'm gonna need to keep a Sister in hand. As for this turn, I don't really know what my line's gonna be. I think it may just be Glove, Sage, yeah. I definitely feel like Lightning Blade's the way. Ooh, actually, benefit of hindsight, that probably wasn't the best choice. It may not matter. So is he going to use his back row? Trap hole. Oh my god, it mattered. It actually mattered. That's kind of crazy. Number 45 effect. Powder Guardians. And let's get swinging here. I imagine that back row is going to be something. I'm going to try and bait it out with the, what is it? Crumpled Logos to Prophet of Demolition. That is a very intense name. I'm going to attack into the Retro Dragon. Alright, so that actually did highlight something that this deck is able to do, that the other deck cannot, and that is deal with Power of the Guardians. We can use our Utopia to just not get domed by the monster that is equipped. Wait enough for you to be able to use your skill. Optimize your hand so you have Sister Clerk, and then go into number 45, negate the Power of the Guardians, so you can out the monster. That was really interesting. I really like that. Oh. I'm just the best duelist in the world, dude. Let's go. And we summon our Utopia. Now let's see if we get owned. Rainbow Life. Why would you do that now? I could not tell you. Yeah, so I can just always revenge back the Sister Special Clerk on a follow-up play. I don't think it's something I need to do right now, though. And this will be game. What do we got? Counter gate. Okie dokie. Try and save my big guy. Trap hole with spikes. Not a problem. GG! There's good, I will say there's good follow-up to both decks in their ability to make subsequent rank 4s. I will say that I think the first deck could be more explosive in one turn. I don't think I could make a 4 and a 2 in one turn, whereas there were games with the other deck I could make a 4 and a 5. With like the God Hand, obviously, but it had that high wall, and I don't think this deck has a high wall line like that. And we top deck a Revenge. Okay. So we have Domain, Basilius. I've seen that he's just added a Medusa. So ideally we want to really try and put the screws on him before we can get set up with like his Evil Eye shenanigans. But there isn't a whole lot that we can do, to be honest. I mean, we have the line, but it's just going to one boss monster when he's got 2 things on the field. It's just like, not very good. Yeah, a strategy that goes a little bit too wide is kind of tricky. And to be fair, that's what the Blue Eyes deck did as well. They put a lot of stats on the board, but they also went wide. You're going to chain confrontation. If you control an evil eye, target one spell trap, destroy it. And if you do, add the evil eye defeat. Is that not resolving? I guess I don't really understand why that didn't work. But I guess it's okay. Like, we would have had protection either way, right? Because this targets and it destroys. And both of our equips are going to stop that from happening. I can Sisters, but I actually don't have any search targets. So it's kind of costly. I think I just have to shuffle it back. I mean, it's not terrible. I can clear his field if I use wind here. Just get the special, and then I can normal the Sage. Let's go into my Patriarch. I've still got 2 material on my Utopia. Let's just see if I have game. Okay, well, I feel like they bricked. I feel like Medusa Selene would have been very difficult to deal with. A lot of his cards were just turned off by the fact he didn't have a Selene in rotation. Which is good for us. But I feel like that went fairly well, to be honest. So, again, just to recap the deck, some of the things I noticed. Low ladder. Duel Links low ladder, you're going to run into Parity Guardians. This deck can deal with Parity Guardians. It's a bit of an unconventional negate, let's say, but it does work. It can target any face-up cards, so Parity Guardians. It can target problematic face-up monsters as well. If you are struggling to push past something with a very powerful effect, it can do that for you. I would say that I will say I got very fortunate, but most of the time it's more difficult to make the Utopia plus equip turn 1. Because you aren't always making your Utopia by just normal NE4 Arm Sage. You are making it with Sister, Search, a spell, Summon Clerk, and then you make it 4. But by that point, you can't special your Arm Sage because you can only special it when you have 1 level 4 on the field. It came up a lot where I just did my line and I just already had follow-up going through the line. You can search your Gagaga Revenge, and then follow-up is super easy, especially with this skill. You go through your line, you search Revenge, and then on follow-up turn, on a mana play, get rid of anything, get Clerk, you have another level 4. The other deck could do that as well, though. This deck was able to have very good recovery as well. Through things like Giant, through things like Glove. I never used the Glove effect, but it does have one. If you control a Go-Go-Go or Dododo monster, except itself while this card's in the graveyard, just special it, but banish it when it leaves the field. But one thing both decks, I think, struggled with is when the strategy goes wide. Something that Blue Eyes is able to do, and Blue Eyes is also able to contest your Utopia in a kind of really awkward way. With the Spirit Dragon, get rid of your equips. 3k can be tough to push through sometimes. Blue Eyes is very prevalent in low ladder, and it's a tough matchup for this deck. I really do think that way. But if you're versing anything else, I feel like this deck does have a good chance. And I want to reiterate, high silver, low gold, I think is the cap for this kind of a deck. I don't think it can go much further than that. And it also depends on where you're at in the season, I would say. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun playing these decks, especially the second one. I think it's super cool. I think Sister Clerk plays, they're just fun to do. That's also a very important thing, just have fun. I'm going to be doing more of these videos with structure decks. Maybe next time, since we're climbing a little bit higher, we try and pick one that has some inherent backer removal, so we don't struggle with that as much. But that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.